From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the Kern County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy, and our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Peters?
Here.
Supervisor Parlier?
Here.
Supervisor Flores?
Here.
Supervisor Couch?
Here.
Supervisor Perez? Here.
Okay, good morning and welcome to the Tuesday, April 14th, 9 a.m. meeting of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. To lead us in our flag salute this morning, we are honored to be led by U.S. Army Captain Earl J. Cooper. Born and raised in the heart of Iowa, Captain Earl Cooper was first answered the call to service by enlisting in the U.S. Army in 1966. While many describe him as a natural-born leader, the captain's quiet confidence wasn't left to chance. He was a man who believed in preparation. After earning his commission through Officers Candidate School, he volunteered for every challenge available to ensure he was ready to lead men into battle. By 1967, he had earned his airborne jump wings, followed by his jungle expert badge in 1968. He immediately deployed to Vietnam, serving from November 1968 to October 1969. As First Lieutenant with the 101st Airborne Division, he led Platoon and Company Charlie, a unit that famously adapted the moniker Cobra Company after their 16-foot pet snake. Operating out of a remote fire base, Lieutenant Cooper was always the first to volunteer, acting as the spear of the fighting force. In the heat of combat, including the legendary battles of Hamburger Hill and Tua Tin Province, he never let nerves dictate his actions. He relied on his rigorous training and calculated decision-making to protect his men, ultimately earning his unit both the Presidential and Valorous Unit citations. Captain Cooper stands before us today as a testament to bravery and resilience. His humbleness belies a distinguished record of valor, including 2 Silver Stars, a Bronze Star, 2 Air Medals, a Purple Heart, and the Combat Infantryman Badge. Mr. Cooper, I'd like to thank you so much for your service to our country and to our community and for being here today to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join me one more time in honoring a true American hero. After the pledge, please remain standing for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whichever you prefer.
Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I would like to call on Nick Cullen, Director of Animal Services Department, to introduce our Pet of the Week. And Nick, it better not be a 16-foot pet snake. All right, Nick, who do we have here today?
Well, good morning, Chairman Peters and members of the board. I brought with me Carl. Carl's a special case. Carl's a senior dog, so he's advanced in years. He's, I know, I feel that way too. He's at least 10 years old, and we do think he's only been with us for a couple of days, so we don't know his story before he got to the shelter, but he's losing some of his vision. He's hearing impaired. Like I said, he's about 10 years old, but he still has a little bit of mobility left in him. and he still has a couple years to live out on this earth. And we hope somebody's out there that will adopt him and let him live out those years in their home. Carl's available for adoption right now at the Kern County Animal Shelter.
Well, unlike you, Couch, he might be a senior, but he carries it well.
Thank you.
Things are coming down, Nick. Good luck, Carl.
Shots fired.
Shot that was heard around the board.
Got to get my digs in when I can, bud. Okay, before we consider the consent agenda, I would like to make it known for anyone following along that items number 28, 47, and 51 have been withdrawn by staff and will not be considered today. Regarding the remainder of the consent agenda, all items listed with the CA above, the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If a member of the public wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken. A member of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. Members of the public may also comment on any closed session items. At this time, I'll read the consent agenda item numbers, and that's item 9 on page 2, items 10 through 16 on page 3, 17 through 22, as well as item 23 on page 4, items 25 through 27, as well as 29 through 32 on page 5, 33 through 40 on page 6, 41 through 46, as well as item 48 on page 7, and lastly, items 49 through 57 on page 8. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak regarding the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for any comments or motion.
Second.
Thank you. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, next up is item number 2, and that's going to be proclaiming April 9th through 25th Crime Victims' Rights Week in Kern County, and this will be presented by Supervisor Couch.
Motion on the proclamation.
Second.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, our honorable chairman. I thought, anyway. Too often, the focus is on police or sheriff response or on the victim, and Crime Victims' Rights Week attempts to remind us that the victims are the most important people that we ought to be thinking about and caring for when a crime occurs. President Ronald Reagan thought that, and in 1981 he proclaimed National Crime Victims' Rights Week for the first time, and we are doing that again today. I'll read the proclamation and I'll turn it over to, well, I don't know who all is going to speak, but I'll turn it over and you all can decide who's going to make whatever comments you'd like to make from the District Attorney's Office. The Board of Supervisors, it reads, the Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California has officially proclaimed April 19 through 25, 2026 as Crime Victims' Rights Week in Kern County. The recognition has been entered into the official board minutes, and it's signed by our Honorable Chair, Philip Peters, dated today. You're up. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, members of the board, Mr. Chairman. My name is Ken Russell, and I'm the Assistant District Attorney at the Kern County DA's office. I'd like to thank the board for recognizing Crime Victims' Rights Week. I'm here with Kayla Pinkston, who is the director of our Victim Services Unit in our office. Next week on Thursday, in recognition of the victims of crime here in Kern County and their families, we are having a memorial ceremony at our Victims of Violent Crime Memorial, which is over on the patio between this building and that building. It's Thursday at 6 p.m. Takes about an hour. There will be a march after we're done with that. As always, members of the public are welcome to attend, as are members of the Board of Supervisors. We always welcome you, and we always appreciate having your support for these events. Last fall, we dedicated our Victims of Violent Crime Memorial, and we had a brief ceremony during the dedication, and we had a march. And I believe your staff has a video that we were going to show for that.
The Victims of Violent Crime Memorial was constructed to remember and honor all crime victims who were murdered in Kern County. Our memorial committee has been planning this monument for several years. It was our dream to have a place where victims' families and members of the communities could come and pause, pray, and reflect on the lives of people who were lost because of senseless acts of violence. It stands here today as a reminder of opportunity for public servants to rededicate themselves to pursuing justice in every case.
But again, thank you very much for your time and your support, and I hope everybody turns out for our event next Thursday at 6 p.m. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Why don't you guys come on in? You guys are the stars of the ship. Get in there.
Thank you again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Couch. Our next item is number 3, proclaiming May 2nd, 2026 as Wildfire Community Preparedness Day in Kern County, and that will be presented by Supervisor Parlia.
Motion on proclamation.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and colleagues on the Board of Supervisors. Well, it's that time of the year where we're starting to enter fire season again, and we need to be prepared. So today, the Kern County Board of Supervisors would like to proclaim May 2nd, 2026 as Wildfire Community Preparedness Day in Kern County. Wildfire Community Preparedness Day is a part of a larger campaign throughout the United States. And what this campaign strives to do is draw awareness and reduce wildfire risks. Joining us today in our chambers is Wendy Ward with the Kern Fire Safe Council. Wendy is the Kern County Wildfire Mitigation Coordinator. She has done such a fantastic job in this role, and my office appreciates all of her hard work. Wendy has been very active in the community to grow the presence and mission of the Kern Fire Safe Council. I'd like to present this proclamation to Wendy on behalf of the Kern Fire Safe Council as we proclaim May 2nd, 2026 as Wildfire Community Preparedness Day in Kern County. Wendy, could you share a few remarks, please? Come on up.
Good morning, Board. I'd like to thank you for appreciating and recognizing the Wildfire Preparedness Day. Having grown up in the rural community of the Kern River Valley, I've known all too often the importance of wildfire preparedness or the lack thereof. And so to have the Board of Supervisors support such a day as this is very rewarding to me and affirming of the duties and the work that we do as the Kern Fire Safe Council. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Parlier.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's do the certificate. And everybody that's getting for a picture, Chief, do you want to, we'll say words later, right? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Wendy, look forward to what you have to say in a few minutes.
Okay, next up is item number 4, proclaiming April 2026 as Second Chance Month in Kern County, and this will be presented by Supervisor Flores.
Thank you. A motion on item 4.
Second.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you for joining us. Come on, everyone. Hi, Tricia. Hi, Pastor. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Hi. Good morning, Board and members of the public. I do want to make a few introductions because I think it's important to present and introduce those of us that are here with us in the chambers from many segments of our community, many leaders. I have Jabray Dixon, Fitzgerald Graves, Traco Matthews, Alexa Torres, and Brandon Stallings. Brandon's with the DA's office. We have Kern Probation, Chief Dickinson, Angela Finley, Bakersfield American Indian Health Project, and City of Bakersfield Violence Intervention, and BPD Lieutenant Josh Finney. This shows you the importance of this proclamation, and I don't know if our board has done this one before, but it's very important. It's Second Chances Month, and this has been established in 2017, fairly recent. National Second Chances Month is a national observance that raises awareness around reentry and the importance of justice-involved individuals. It sends a clear message that people are more than their past, and that with the right support and transformation, our communities are strengthened, we can reduce stigma, and promote safer, more united neighborhoods. And there are many partners that make this happen across Kern County, such as Garden Pathways, CAPK, the Mission of Kern County, that play a vital role in advancing second chances through prevention, intervention, and support, alongside the efforts of Kern County Parole and Probation. And I saw Jabray at an event at the Civic Auditorium. There must have been 1,000 people there, and we had a brief encounter alongside the hall, and there was a quick conversation that was had, and he shared a story with me about redemption. And he ran into the judge that sentenced him, if I may share that, Judge Twisselman, and they had a real brief connection. They exchanged words, and it was so powerful because what was said in those few minutes made a big difference. You thanked him, he acknowledged you, and your trajectory has changed ever since. So the system works. We always hear about the failures. Well, there's also the win, the opportunity, the transformation, and you're living proof, and I applaud you for that, to go what you've gone through and to acknowledge the judge, and he acknowledged you, and that you epitomize this proclamation that we're presenting today here in Kern County. So if you'd like to say a few words, I'd also like to present this proclamation on behalf of our chairman, Philip Peters, declaring this day as Second Chance Month in Kern County, signed by our board chairman. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to Supervisor Jeff Flores, the Kern County Board of Supervisors, for this historic moment. In the last 2 years, I've been blessed to be connected with incredible change makers, and standing here behind only a percentage, of them. Changes grew into the byproduct of every part of the change that happened in my own life. From my innocent days at Norris Elementary, transitioning to Bessie Owens and experiencing that culture shock, that's when I dated back to when I became the follower that I was. The follower that strived towards the image of the father that I didn't have due to gun violence. As I put in the work and got into the root of not only what was wrong with me, but what actually happened in my life to lead to those destructive patterns. So much happened in my life, so much that, that led to the hurdles, the downs, the 19-year sentence. I would be remiss, you highlighted Judge Twisselman, but the district attorney who convicted me, Eric Smith, who, have brought me in, and we worked again with restorative practices, again, and looking forward at what the future lies. I didn't know that change was real. That second chance was only possible until I witnessed it in front of me and my mentor, Stephen Evans. My mentor showed me that change was in fact possible, and that's what our curriculum, our mission, that's what it aims for. When I reached that crossroads and was ready for something different, I knew that my change was bigger than me. It was for my family. It was for those that poured into me, invested in my second chance. Watching the DA, the video of the victims' right, I was there that night, and it was very somber. And not only do I do this for my family, but the ones that were cut short of their second chance. My father died from gun violence. My brothers died from gun violence. And I do it so for them. So upon returning home, I had a drive to be a part of the solution. I knew that I wanted to come back to Bakersfield. I went to the Kern Crossroads facility, was able to begin sharing my testimony. There was a young man that walked up to me, after, and he's here with me, and he'll be able to share a little bit more of his story. But he said something to me that stayed with me, and I let him know that if I never impact anyone in my life ever again, it's because of the work that you showed me that there was possible. And the young man walked up and said that he never thought that leaving the gang lifestyle, leaving the criminal behaviors wasn't possible until he heard my testimony. And that's exactly how, I seen that it was possible. And so again, I didn't come by myself. This isn't just my proclamation. So if the board respectful, I would like to allow the floor open for my mentee, Nick.
Thank you. Good morning, board. My name is Nicholas Miller, and I've been honored the opportunity to share my second chance of what I've done with it. But first, I'd like to thank my mentor, Job Bray, and I'd also like to thank probation and the Apex program. When I hear second chance, I think about my life and the second chance that I've been given. I grew up in a broken home and a rough environment. I've been in and out of the juvenile justice system since I was 13. All I knew was the streets and gangbanging because I was uneducated. I was uneducated for a long time until I met Job Bray. I remember in 2023, I was at Apex and Job Bray came in and shared his story. After, I put him aside and he explained that I didn't have to live that lifestyle. I didn't have to be a gang member, that I can be whoever I wanted to be. I knew he was telling the truth, and I believed him because he was living proof. That same day, I stopped being affiliated with the gang lifestyle. Since then, I've exhausted every resource Apex has to offer. I realized how important mentoring is, so I started my own mentor program. I've obtained an internship at the Garden Community Church and have made a number of connections in the community. My latest achievement is co-founding a nonprofit named InnerReach, which is guided towards helping at-risk youth coming out of committed programs. In this nonprofit, I'd like to show these youth the same thing Job Bray showed me, that I can write my own story no matter the environment. This is what I've done with my second chance, and I can't wait to hear more. Thank you for your time, and thank you, probation.
John Maxwell said it that we can't measure our success based on what we do, but also based on those that we impact. And so without further ado, I don't think there's any more fitting way to send in the mic drop, you know, to Alexia Torres. In 2 weeks, I will be getting my record expunged after being home 2 years. And we had a conversation, we shared vision, and when she talked about the importance of possibly bringing this to the Board of Supervisors, I thought that there was no better moment. And so without further ado, the mic droppers, can we give it up for Alexia Torres, please?
Mr. Chair, honorable supervisors, my name is Alexia Torres Stallings, and I'm a criminal defense attorney. I'm also managing partner at the Torres Stallings law firm, and I am past Kern County Bar President from 2021. Redemption. As a lawyer practicing exclusively in criminal law for the last 12 years, I have had the privilege and honor of seeing redemption every day. I've witnessed clients change in ways that show me that the belief in oneself is the single most important, powerful tool that a person can have. The Kern County Bar Association, in conjunction with the Cal State University Bakersfield pre-law program, is celebrating the 4th expungement clinic next week on Friday. We serve specifically the individuals who need a second chance the most in our community. In 2021, we started the first expungement clinic in this building upstairs, and at that time, we were only supported by the Kern County Law Library, Kern County Probation, and a handful of volunteer attorneys from our Indigent Defense Program. As this program has grown over the years, we are fortunate to have the support of the Kern County District Attorney's Office, the Kern County Superior Court, and a handful of community partners. The program has grown, therefore the reach into our community has grown. This year, we are anticipating on serving our largest group of community members, and we believe that we will be completing close to 500 post-conviction relief petitions this particular year. One of the ways to streamline re-entry is through post-conviction relief. Many people do not realize that a criminal conviction can carry exclusions from programs that can afford them housing and health care. It can shut doors to lucrative employment, and these challenges can then fuel recidivism. The expungement clinic seeks to break that cycle and allow our community members to close that chapter of their story. We are so fortunate to highlight Mr. Jabray Dixon's story before all of you today, because it is important that we always remember to choose to see redemption in hopes of inspiring other people like him. As practitioners and members of the community, we need to remember to lead and advise with humility and grace. And this is what we teach our volunteer attorneys, but also the Cal State Bakersfield students who come before us as a part of this program. We are planting the seed of community outreach and redemption so that way when they join the legal community, that they too can seek to practice with humility and look for other Jabrays. On behalf of the Kern County Bar Association, we'd like to thank the CSUB program, the Kern County Law Library, the Kern County Probation Department, our District Attorney's Office, Kern County Superior Court, and our attorney volunteers. May we always remember our why when we see the very definition of redemption at the expungement clinic next week. And thank you to the Board of Supervisors for showing us leadership in promoting the idea of celebrating second chances in our community for years to come. Thank you.
Well, I just wanted to tell you guys, I know you're going to get your pictures down there, but one of my favorite quotes is, "The future is unwritten," and it sounds like you guys are making the choice to write your own story for the future. And so I just want to commend you and the efforts you guys have made, not just for yourselves, but for your families and for your community to give them better opportunities. It really is remarkable. So my hat's off to all of you.
Yeah, come on, yeah. Hey, hi.
Can I have maybe, there's like some holes over here.
Get that top iron thing.
Yeah, the
Come on, Josh.
There we, yes, there we go. One, two, and three.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Flores. The next item, our last proclamation is item number 5, and that's proclaiming April 18th, 2026 as Scottish Games and Gathering Day in Kern County. And this will be presented by Supervisor Perez.
Thank you. Motion on proclamation.
Second.
Thank you.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
So nice to see you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Chair Peters, I graduated Highland High in 1995. In 94, I starred in the hit play Brigadoon at Highland High, so I consider myself an honorary Scotsman today, having actually learned quite a bit at Highland about the stunning, remarkable, glorious, valiant history of your people. And so I want to be associated with you, with permission, of course. The Kern County Scottish Society, established in July 1971 in Bakersfield, California, and was formed to promote and preserve Scottish heritage, language, and cultural traditions throughout education and social events held in Kern County. In 1998, the society became a nonprofit educational corporation which relies solely on membership, donations, and sponsorships, and is strictly run and operated by volunteers. None of our volunteers, including the chieftain and members of the board of directors, are financially compensated or are employees of the Kern County Scottish Society. Such devotion. To preserve the Scottish heritage, language, and cultural traditions, we host a number of events annually, such as Highland Games and gatherings and Burns Supper. Is that right? Burns, did I say that right? Oh, got it. We bet you did not know you were singing a Scottish song on New Year's Eve. How fun. Members of the society have the opportunity to learn traditional Highland dance routines. Bagpiping, incomparable. Incomparable. And Gaelic, I don't know if I can say this right. Gaelic?
I don't honestly know how to say it either, but
We'll skip it. Keeping culture, traditions, and language alive for the generations to come. And apparently, you don't have to be Scottish to join. Well, I'm honorary, so I took care of that. Okay, here we are. Welcome here to this moment to declare a proclamation for your glorious and beautiful people. Board of Supervisors of the County of Kern, State of California, has officially proclaimed April 18th, 2026 as Kern County Scottish Games and Gatherings Day in Kern County. So cool. This recognition has been entered into the official board minutes, and it's been signed by our Honorable Chair, Philip Peters, who is not an honorary Scotsman, I should say. But he could be. So here you are.
Yeah, I just haven't got on board with the haggis yet.
The floor is yours, sir. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
thank you to the board for this proclamation. We appreciate it. And I am one of the board members, so on behalf of the board and the membership of the Kern County Scottish Society, we'd like to invite everyone to join us this coming weekend for a celebration of Scottish culture, music, food. If you want to see a lot of kilts, or even buy one, there will be vendors out there this weekend to do that.
You
So,
can buy a kilt this
yes.
weekend. Oh, that's so cool. Braveheart
yeah,
style.
so, yeah, it's our biggest event of the year. The Robert Burns Supper that you referred to, he's considered the poet laureate of Scotland. So Auld Lang Syne is one of his poems.
How wonderful.
He wrote many others, including one that's called To a Haggis. So,
Can you share any lines with us?
I wish I could, but I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, next
so.
time. Next time.
But anyway, we're very proud of our culture. Scottish culture goes back literally thousands of years, and it's quite a place. I went there for the first time a couple of years ago, and it's just absolutely amazing. the scenery, the sights, the fact that, you know, history is all around you. You don't have to go looking for it.
That's right.
So, thank you again.
SCSCSCOT. Thank you. Thank you
Thanks
very
very
much.
much.
Thank you. Let's get a picture here. Thank you very much.
All
Thank
right,
you. It's
thank
pleasant
you.
here. A
Pleasure
wonderful
to meet you.
weekend. Thank you.
Okay, the board will now consider item number 7, which is public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed, may ask questions for clarification, make referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Also, the board may take action to direct staff to place a matter of business on a future agenda. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes, and we ask that you please state and spell your name before your presentation. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning to the board, Madam Vice. My name is Charles Shinn, S-H-I-N-N, retired Marine, concerned citizen. We're going to read this morning a case review from the SCOTUS blog. I invite everybody to look that site up online. It's a court to hear argument in case that could have significant impact in the 2026 elections. The Supreme Court will kick off its March argument session by hearing a case that could have major implications for the 2026 elections and beyond. In Watson v. Republican National Committee, yes, we're even pushing back against the Republicans, the justice will decide whether federal law requires not only that voters cast their ballots by Election Day, but also that election officials receive the ballots by then. If the justices agree that it does, laws in more than a dozen states could be upended. The Constitution provides that the time, place, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. But the Congress may at any time, by law, make or alter such regulations. In 1845, Congress, which has the power to determine when the president is elected, chose the Tuesday after the first Monday in November as Election Day. And in 1872, it directed that Congress or congressional elections should occur on this day as well. In 2020, in response to the COVID pandemic, Mississippi changed its election law to allow mail-in ballots to be counted as long as they were postmarked by then and received within 5 business days of Election Day. Thank you.
Chairman Peters, Board, thank you for all that you do. My name is Glenn Clayton, C-L-A-Y-T-O-N. In 2024, the Republican National Committee and the Mississippi Republican Party, along with a Mississippi voter and a county election official, went to a federal court, challenged the post-election ballot deadline. The Libertarian Party of Mississippi filed a similar lawsuit a few weeks later, which was combined with the first suit. The challengers contended that the Mississippi law conflicted with the federal law setting the Tuesday after the first Monday in November as Election Day. Senior U.S. District Judge Louis Girola Jr. upheld the law. He wrote that Congress set a national election day to avoid the evils of burdening citizens with multiple election days and risking undue influence upon voters and one state from announced tallies in states voting earlier. Neither of those concerns, he concluded, is raised by allowing a reasonable interval for ballots cast and postmarked by Election Day to arrive by mail. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit reversed. A 3-judge panel made up of Judges James Ho, Kyle Duncan, and Andrew Oldham ruled that federal law required all ballots to be received by Election Day. Over a dissent by 5 judges, the full Court of Appeals turned down Mississippi's plea to rehear the case, and the Supreme Court agreed in November to weigh in. Thank you.
Morning, board and staff. Andy Hensel, HEN-SEL, concerned citizen. So to continue the legal saga, in its brief on the merits, Mississippi argued that the purpose of the federal law, for purposes of the federal law, an election occurs when voters cast their ballots and choose a candidate they want to serve in office. An election does not hinge on when election officials receive those ballots, just as it does not depend on when officials count those ballots. The Supreme Court ruling, 2020 ruling in Republican National Committee versus Democratic National Committee, Mississippi wrote, quote, "It reinforces that ballot receipt is not part of an election." In its ruling on the interim docket, Mississippi said that the court blocked a lower court order that would have allowed ballots to be mailed after Wisconsin's primary election day. In doing so, Mississippi emphasized the court distinguished between, quote, "the date by which the ballots must be received by election officials and the date by which they must be cast by voters," thereby acknowledging that the latter is fundamental to the voting, and while the former is not. Mississippi contended that its interpretation is also supported by the history of federal law, establishing a uniform election day. Congress enacted the statute, the state said, quote, "to address the problems of states holding elections on different days," unquote. For example, the voter fraud that results when people are able to vote in more than one state, or the burden that's created when voters were required to vote for both the president and members of Congress on different days. Quote, "Congress was not addressing or deciding the issue of ballot receipt when it passed the law," Mississippi insisted. And the legal saga continues.
Dennis McLean, MC, capital L-E-A-N. Morning, Chairman Peters, supervisors, and staff. Thank you for allowing us to speak. If the Fifth Circuit were correct that federal law requires ballots to be received by Election Day, Mississippi cautioned it would override countless state laws from the past 185 years and largely require citizens to vote in person on Election Day in their home districts without the secret ballot system. Congress, Mississippi concluded, did not impose the destabilizing revolution in election administration that the ruling below would require. A friend of the court, brief supporting Mississippi, filed several individual and organization representation in military and overseas voting, warned the justices that the ruling upholds the Fifth Circuit decision could adversely affect members of military and their families. There are almost 4 million service members who are stationed overseas or outside their home state, the brief said. Those service members, along with their families and others who live overseas, encounter time-consuming challenges to register to vote, obtain absentee ballots, and return those ballots, the brief reported. A brief from the League of United American Citizens, LULAC, echoed military group concerns. They told the justices that many of the members vote by mail because they live in rural communities and are elderly or disabled and wish to avoid in-person intimidation at the polling place. Without a post-election day receipt window, many of these ballots would miss the deadline. This is especially likely to happen, LULAC stressed, in the light of the recent changes to the U.S. Postal Service that could result in ballots missing the receipt deadline. Thank you.
Good morning, Board. My name is Mercy Pena, P-E-N-A, and I'm going to continue on this legislation. The challengers countered that under federal law, an election occurs when ballots are both submitted and received, and that as a result, laws like Mississippi's that allow ballots to be counted after the date set by Congress are invalid. They pointed to the Supreme Court's 1997 decision in Foster versus Love, in which the justices ruled that Louisiana's open primary system, which held elections for Congress in October that effectively ended such contests before November, conflicted with federal law. When the federal statutes speak of the elections of the senator or representative, Justice David Scouter wrote for a unanimous court, they plainly referred to the combined actions of voters and officiants met to make a final selection of an office holder. One challenger, the Libertarian Party of Mississippi, told the justices that the state's counterintuitive distinction between when a voter completes and submits a ballot and when the ballot is received would have struck the 19th century public as bizarre, because at that time, virtually all ballots were marked, submitted, received, and deposited at the polling stations in a matter of moments. The Libertarian Party added that the entire purpose of the federal election day statutes is to set a single uniform day for the election, allowing ballots to trickle in the days or weeks later, it said, and antithetical to that basic goal. Another set of challengers, the Republican National Committee and the Republican Party of Mississippi, argued that the court's decision in the Republican National Committee versus Democratic National Committee does not help the state, because that Supreme Court agreed in November to weigh in. The Supreme Court will kick off in March arguments this session by hearing its case that would have major implications for the 2026 elections and beyond. Thank you.
Good morning, Board. I think you took my paper. Name's Jeff Sanders, Jes, Sanders. Okay, well. The Trump administration filed a friend of the court brief supporting the challengers' pushback against the arguments made by the primarily by the veterans group. They had joined the lawsuit to defend the Mississippi law. Specifically, the federal laws incorporated state law deadlines for receiving the ballots of overseas members, confirmed that Congress did not intend to require all ballots to be received on Election Day. Such narrow exceptions, U.S. Solicitor General D. John Sauer wrote, do not redefine the general rule, but instead simply relax the federal deadlines for a combined class voter group. A group of 9 states, led by Montana, filed a friend of the court brief in which they too urged the justices to uphold the Fifth Circuit's decision. They assure that the court, contrary to the arguments, may be groups like LULAC requiring mail-in ballots to arrive by Election Day possess no real hardship for the absentee voter. The Postal Service delivers the vast majority of these absentee ballots extremely quickly. Moreover, the state said there must be a final deadline, and some voters will ultimately miss it just because we're people, I guess. But announcing that the deadline on a specific day in November, the state suggests it will make it more likely that they make it. I know that when I get my DMV paperwork, they always have a deadline. And if I miss it, it's my fault. Thank you.
Good morning. I apologize, I didn't get dressed up this morning. I just came over here. I was up all night trying to finish this 250-plus page amended complaint. And
Just to give you guys a little background again in history, I am the first person in Kern County history to have secured an indictment on a public official. Leticia Perez is the first public official in Kern County history to be indicted. So she has that prestigious honor. So, you know, I heard about Zimmer, right? And I thought, you know, contributions, referral, okay, conflict of interest, right? Okay, yeah, ooh, hey. But then I started looking into it more, right? And wow, she has got some circular financial scheme going on. Let me tell you about it. Zimmer apparently is directing funds from things like conditional dismissals, where the money from the remediation goes to nonprofits of her choice. And those people end up being the people who give her money, tens of thousands of dollars in contributions, apparently. And, you know, then she gives them, you know, diversions. They make money off of the diversion referrals. They get money from the court settlements, the judgments in the criminal cases, remediation from there. And then it's just a circular loop. Then she gives that money to her family, to their campaigns, and they just keep circling this money. Then the Indian guys give money back to her, and then that's how she stays in office, right? And she has this lucrative deal going on with them. So there's more to it. Scrivener, apparently, her nephew is enrolled in one of their programs and isn't paying. But, you know, there's a lot more to this. It's retaliation. It's about conflicts of interest, of course, and public corruption. And there are other people involved. And I flagged those, some of those contributions that are in contributions in clusters, when they're in groups.
Sir, we're going to need you to bring your comments to a close, please. We're 30 seconds over the limit.
Sorry about that. And then, yeah, so there's also a lot of retaliation involving law enforcement and prosecutorial misconduct. Thank you.
Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Spartacus.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Nadine Escalante, Escalante. I'm here because you guys took item 28 off of the agenda. And I wanted to remind everybody, as the DA's office was talking about Victims Awareness Month, and the county is deciding who's going to be taking care of domestic violence victims, when we have the Open Door Network that is providing more than adequate care for our victims. I want to remind people of what happened on December 10th, 2016. I will never forget that day. That's the day that Katrina Rivera and her unborn child was found dead by her boyfriend. She was a victim of domestic violence. I never got to know Katrina, but I knew her because of my friend. My friend Christine was best friends with her. Unfortunately, the day that they found Manuel Vela in front of East High, I was there that day. Sheriff Youngblood was there that day. He should remember that day. My retired ex-brother-in-law, Tim, was there that day. They had to figure out how to get her body out of the car without newspapers taking pictures. And I suggested put them fire trucks so nobody could ever witness them removing her body out of the car. I want you to remember this when you guys are thinking about who is going to take care of our domestic violence victims. This child died at the hands of his father. There are 3 children who no longer have a mother, who no longer have a baby brother. To sit in that living room with her family, and they did not know me, and they were concerned how was their grandchild being taken care of at the coroner's office. And I asked, do you wrap the baby up in a blanket? Those are the victims that you guys need to be worried about. Not people's money, not what Michael Bauer said, not what the DA wants. it's the victims.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Board of Supervisors. My name is Tamara Baker. I'm the Executive Director for the Alzheimer's Disease Association of Kern County Incorporated. I'm coming here to give you all an update about the services that we offer. So we've been around since 1983 providing dementia support in Kern County, and we've been the only organization solely dedicated to that purpose. Thousands of Kern County residents are living with dementia right now, and that number is projected to double by 2060. Behind every one of them is a family caregiver, a spouse, an adult, a child, a sibling, exhausted, often isolated. These families need more than a single program. They need a system built around them. ADAKC, as of May 4th, is launching its Dementia Caregiver Support Hub, which is a countywide model. This will provide support groups across Kern County, not just in one location. We will provide one-on-one caregiver coaching and crisis navigation, professional dementia training for healthcare workers serving our families. And we're going to be built to reach more than 1,500 families annually through our work. What we are asking from the Board of Supervisors is awareness that ADAKC is here, we're growing, and we are a resource for your constituents. We ask that if at any point families come through County Aging and Adult Services, refer them to us, and also would love to work with you all on putting together an Alzheimer's Awareness Month in November. So for 40 years, in closing, ADAKC has been showing up for Kern families. We're not stepping back, we're stepping up, and we're looking forward to expanding throughout the area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. I am Bob Smith. Thank you, Chair Peters and Supervisors, for giving me the time to continue the discussion on the lack of jail beds in our community. I came to you a few months ago to formally begin the more public discussion of the lack of jail bed space in our community and the lawlessness created by this glaring missing piece of our law enforcement efforts. Our citizens continue to suffer the consequences of this failure. Millions of dollars are spent every year on these chronic, low-level offenders who are consciously taking advantage of our situation. In our discussions with community members, the Sheriff's Office, Bakersfield Police Department, the presiding judge, Taft City Government and Police Department, the District Attorney's Office, service providers, Kern Medical, and others, we have found ways to improve upon our systems to make our community safer and help those who are suffering most. We are in negotiations with the City of Taft for jail bed space in their facility. We believe this can be a much quicker solution than any other option. We have reallocated funds in order to start this program, as our community simply cannot wait any longer for movement on this most pressing problem. I understand that this problem has been a long time in the making, starting with the cutbacks of the Great Recession and the legislation and court orders to reduce the amount of people in prisons. Like many issues in our system, we swing from one extreme to the next. But it simply is not right to have zero accountability for repeat offenders who are terrorizing our community. I'm asking for your partnership in solving this crisis. Since I have been on the City Council, we have worked together on many joint issues. The city helped fund the startup of the M Street Navigation Center. We worked together on many of the TRIP projects, and most recently jointly funded with Shafter a needed transportation facility that benefits all of us. I'm asking that the county to work jointly with us on this issue of lawlessness in our community. It has always been, and I assume that it will always be, the county's responsibility to provide jail bed space. We do not intend to take that responsibility away. We just want to help find a way to get back to a reasonable system of accountability. My ask of you today is a referral to your staff to try and identify and reallocate funds to work with us to create more jail bed space and a better system of accountability in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Next speaker, please.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Supervisor Couch.
Because I'm getting so old and I don't want to forget.
Smart man.
Can I just refer the request to the CAO's office and talk about that at some point and get a response?
Supervisor Couch, through the chair, yes, and in addition to that, the city manager, Christian Click, has provided us a letter kind of requesting the same consideration. So we will be bringing that as part of the budget discussion.
Thank you.
Good morning, members of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. Danny Rodella, D-A-N-N-Y-R-O-D-E-L-A, District 2, lead community organizer with Faith in the Valley. I wanted to first just say thank you to Chris Parlier for the work that's being done out in the Taft area, specifically within our partnership with the Parks Are Sacred campaign. We're seeing changes happening at Fort City Park. We're seeing changes happening at Valley Acres Park. I just got a call from Doug Keeler from the Midway Driller asking about opening date for the inauguration on the splash pad. I told him I'll get back to him. Maybe I can chat with Paul about it. But on another note, though, Faith in the Valley invites you, Kern County Board of Supervisors, to the Seeds of Hope pilgrimage, a meaningful Central Valley-wide gathering scheduled for April 25th, 2026 at 5:30. The pilgrimage begins in Stockton and travels through Modesto, Merced, Fresno, before ending here in Bakersfield. At this final stop, Faith in the Valley will unite to raise our voices on the issues most vital to our communities: housing, healthcare access, public safety, food security, a strong social safety net, and the protection of our immigrant neighbors and loved ones. This invitation, along with the registration link, was emailed to you last week on April 9th. Hope you can attend. The closing vigil will be held at the Liberty Bell Monument outside the Kern County Superior Courthouse. Your presence would definitely send a clear message that Kern County's elected leaders stand with their constituents, regardless of personal political beliefs, and are committed to seeing, hearing, and understanding what matters most to them right now. We hope to see you there, as well as other elected officials, such as Congressman David Valadao, who was also invited. I know Steve Kemp is here, his field rep, and I hope, Steve, you can take that message once again to Congressman Valadao. Anyone who cares about these justice issues and wishes to attend is warmly welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. I'm Mary Lou Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R. I'm here representing caregivers of Alzheimer's and dementia patients. As a caregiver of more than 13 years, a retired nurse of more than 46 years, I took care of my husband. I could not have gone through that journey without the help and support of ADAKC. They have a caregiver support group meeting every week that is like a master's class in Alzheimer's and dementia. But more importantly, they have a daycare program, which according to what we learned on April 1st, they're going to be shutting down. We feel this is a travesty, that this needs to be continued. The community needs to know about this. At this time, in the United States, there's more than 7.5 million people with dementia and Alzheimer's. It is predicted by 2060, this number will more than double. That's just in the US. Worldwide, it's even more. So please help us in continuing to support ADAKC and to find a way to have this daycare program continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Rosa Lopez, L-O-P-E-Z. I'm a resident of District 3. And I wasn't planning to come up and speak here, but I'm just concerned about some of the narratives that are being raised here. Promoting or asking for, instead of addressing the social problems that we see in our neighborhoods through community engagement and conversation and discussing what is a lasting solution, we're continuously asking how do we push people more into the criminal legal system? Why do we need to expand additional jail beds for what people have repeated to say, like low-level offenses, instead of offering social support? And I'm not going to pretend that I know what the solution is, but I know that it's not to continue to arrest and rearrest folks. So I'm asking if you can invite the community throughout the county to have a community budget conversation. Really, how is it that even with the largest county budget investment in the criminal legal system, we still have this issue? The Sheriff's Office has the largest budget of this county, along with the DA and probation. Where does the library, where does the social support or social networks fall into place? We know that arresting folks for living in the streets because they suffer from either mental health or substance abuse or other social problems that we probably don't understand. But instead of addressing that with long-term investment and housing first, we are saying, how can we expand jails? How can we increase deputies on the streets? What we see, we are seeing more unhoused folks in our communities, and we are doing this. We are playing the same playbook over and over again. So I am pleading if you can invite the community conversation of why is it that we have such a large and an increase in unhoused folks on the streets? We know it's access to housing. We know that this county has does not have a plan to address the unaffordable housing crisis in this county. And so I plead that you pause this Russian investment and how can we expand jail beds and invite the public for real dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Linda Eliff, E-L-I-E-F-F, as in Frank. Good morning to board members. I am grateful for the opportunity to speak here today, although the circumstances are unfortunate that compel me to attend the meeting. I wish to say a few words in response to the distressing news I received less than 2 weeks ago about the closing of the adult daycare program at ADA-KC for Alzheimer's patients. My husband, Bill Miller, had Alzheimer's and passed away 8 months ago. Like so many others in my position as a spouse hearing his diagnosis, I was determined to keep him happy, loved, comfortable at home for as long as possible. 1 week before he passed away, I had completed the paperwork required to enroll him in the daycare program. And only a few months after hearing of his diagnosis, I found myself at an emotional breakdown, total exhausted, not only losing sleep, hair loss, loss of appetite, and a sense of self. Caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's is a difficult, heart-wrenching experience. Regardless of how many degrees I have, how many local, state, national, international certifications I've earned, years of experience as a healthcare profession, as a speech pathologist, nothing prepared me for this experience. Memory care is a 24/7 demand. If you on the board or those of you in the audience have not already been affected by this disease, it is only a matter of time. It will happen to you. It just hasn't happened yet. Because it will be your spouse, your mother, your father, your sibling, or you yourself. The Alzheimer's experience is a journey that's unique to each family and requires an understanding of how this progressive disease destroys memory and thinking. We are in desperate need for guidance in helping develop a strategy to help bridge the financial gap that ADA-KC has and to help retain their daycare program. My husband would have loved it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, if I could real quick, I know you and I believe it was Ms. Miller that spoke earlier about this. This isn't, I mean, you guys are the experts in this. I know Ms. Baker back there, you guys are obviously much more versed in this than I am, but if you'd like, my representative is in the back, Mandy, if you could raise your arm, thanks. If you guys want to talk with her, maybe we could schedule a meeting, and if anything, I would appreciate the chance to learn more about it and just see how we can help, if we can help, and just get a conversation going. If you'd like to talk with her, and she can help you get something set up.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
I'm in your district.
Oh, outstanding. Thanks. And then I apologize, before our next speaker, I skipped over Supervisor Flores, who had asked to speak.
Good, thank you, Chairman. 2 years ago, Ms. Lopez asked about having a meeting and conversations, important conversations that need to be had. So for the edification of the public, we do have the best conversations possible, which are our budget discussion hearings and public input. So this year is a little different because we're speeding up the process and having an earlier adoption than in years past. So if the CAO might clarify when some of our budget meetings are in the upcoming future, that might help the public schedule and come and speak about the issues of their concern.
Supervisor Flores, through the chair, yes, thank you. We're actually going to be starting our budget discussions here in April. So we have a quarterly report that's going to be and then we do have our actual budget adoption. And the federal level that local governments are having to figure out how to mitigate within their budgets. We do have your board back in February, and those are the things that we've been working over the past several months to work with the departments to determine how we're going to deal with that, in addition to what the impacts are to the departments if we're going to mitigate it. So if we can give them May date? May 12th.
May 12th, okay.
Is the kind of the first preliminary discussion. April 28th.
Thank you, Supervisor. Okay, next speaker, please.
Good morning, Board. I know several of you, and happy to be here, happy to have the chance to speak. My name is Martha Miller, M-I-L-L. I'm going to give you a I have to read it, Alzheimer's Disease Association of Kern County and their day program. And Doug's been going to that group for 1.5 years and has thrived. It's the social interaction, it's the activity.
We were just told the beginning of the month that this program is closing. This was the only program. You talk about going to the Department of Aging. I went to the Department of Aging, and they told me, is she on Medicare? Medi-Cal? She was on Medicare, but she wasn't on Medi-Cal, and they said, we have nothing we can do for you. I, in desperation, showed up at the ADAKC in tears, saying, I have nowhere else to go. And they helped me. They helped me finish the journey with my mom. This daycare program can't close. We have so many people who benefit from it. There is nowhere else we can take our loved ones that we know they will be cared for. And if you are a normal Medicare, there are no services available. This is a self-paying program, and it's affordable for the families that can use it, for the middle class. And if this program closes, there is nothing available to care for our loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
My name is Teresa Shoemaker, S-H-O-E-M-A-K-E-R. And I hadn't planned on coming up and talking today, but I'm just echoing what all of my friends from the ADAKC support. Alzheimer's disease. At the day center at 88KC. It is the one thing that I know for a fact that he is happy with. I love the 88KC. Everybody, you have not heard anything negative about the 88KC ever. And while I appreciate the new model that they're going with, and I appreciate the fact that they're going to teach people how to be better caregivers, what in fact is actually helping the caregiver is having a place to bring your person that is safe, and that they know that they're loved, and that I know that my husband is loved. You know that your person would be loved if, God forbid, you ever have to take your person who has dementia or Alzheimer's to a day center. So thank you for talking to us. I encourage any of the rest of you to talk to us to help us and dementia. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker.
Good morning, Chair. My name is David Cadell, K-A-D-E-L, and I am the Vice President of Oildale Community Action Team. I did not come with the intention of speaking this morning, but I wanted to invite the community to attend our public meetings, Oildale Community Action Team, on the last Monday of the month at North High School in B Hall at 6 p.m., where all of these issues like these are being addressed at each of the meetings. And I want to thank the responsiveness of the Board of Supervisors, particularly Jeff Flores and the Sheriff. We found them, and the DA's office, we've found that they are very responsive to the needs of the community, and we have these meetings so that we can discuss some of these issues in an environment where it's non-threatening. We have sufficient time to discuss some of these issues. And so I would, again, just like to thank the board, thank the sheriff, the DA for their responsiveness. We have community speakers. We have them come and speak at our meetings as well, and many other speakers. And if there's other issues that need to be addressed to the community and you would like to attend as a speaker, we would invite that as well. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Hi, good morning. I'm Megan Velasquez, V-E-L-A-S-Q-U-E-Z. I'm Executive Director of Valley Caregiver Resource Center. I'm here in part to introduce myself as you guys are voting on additional funds for us for our long-term care ombudsman program later on your agenda. And so we serve caregivers all throughout the Central Valley, from Stanislaus to Kern County. We're a statewide program, statewide model, I should say. In Fresno, we are made up of 4 different programs. We have our caregiver resource program. We do have a day program that also specializes in dementia care, so I can attest to just how it's a hidden gem within the community and what a big support it is for communities. And here we have our caregiver resource program, so we walk alongside caregivers with any diagnosis similar to ADA-KC. We partner with them often in supporting caregivers in different capacities. We are looking to take over the grant for the long-term care ombudsman to give residents a voice in long-term care facilities and in skilled nursing. We have a thriving program in Fresno, so I hope to continue to bring that model of what we do in Fresno here to Kern County to continue to give the Kern County residents a voice. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other public speakers? Okay, seeing none, we're going to close public presentations, and we're going to move to item number 8, which is board member announcements and reports.
Mr. Chairman. May I?
Supervisor Cap.
May I ask those of you that spoke about ADA-KC today, any of you that are willing, my staff, my chief of staff, Isabel, are you back in the back? There she is. Would you mind giving your name and contact information to Isabel? Thank you.
Supervisor Perez.
Thank you so much. Just a brief thank you to some just remarkable souls in Kern County that I want to acknowledge today. On March 27th, my office, primarily led by Priscilla Sanchez, whose heart knows no bounds, is engaged in a love project, really. Other members of my staff too, Cindy was phenomenal, Christian, of course, but a love project along with the Kern County Probation Department, ETR, which is our Employers Training Resource, Candy Caceres, very good personal friend at 17 News, and of course 17 News who had her be there. Dress for Success, Kern Health Systems, Good Sam Hospital, through the guidance and tutelage of Kelly Gladden-Glapensk, who every kid fell in love with, and who she made a real party in a way that's just, she is just so magical in doing. We joined together in what I think is God's work, myself, and hosted our first inaugural Say Yes to the Prom Dress Drive event. We know how expensive prom is, we know it's prom season, and we know we have lots of kids in our community who would like to attend and are good kids and are worthy and deserving, but just do not have the resources to really go all out on prom. That's just a reality. And so we came together to host and provide a prom dress shopping experience for these young girls. And let me tell you, beautiful, beautiful dresses, high-end dresses, donated, volunteered from the community, given to us, some with tags on them, absolutely gorgeous dresses, shoes, jewelry, the whole nine. I want to take time to thank also ETR staff, Brandon Evans. It's the director, I believe. My apologies. Rosalia Adame and others here in the audience who helped set up the event and bring so much passion, kindness, and TLC to these young women who are, we know, the future, part of the future of Kern County. I'd like to thank Chief Dickinson in particular in our probation department, Director Gaona and his officers, especially Maverick Anderson, for going above and beyond the call of duty to keep our students safe, to make this an incredibly community-focused, child-focused, family-focused, Kern County-focused collaboration to give these young girls a beautiful, wonderful, dignified experience at prom. It also brought us all together. If you look at the list, we're not people who necessarily sit around and agree on politics all day long, and how useless is that? Shin. We're people who are working together and who are putting forth and first and foremost our love for our community, our love for our children. In D5, we believe all Kern County kids are all our kids. All of them, whatever corner they're at in Kern County or where they come from, whatever needs they may have, we want to join together and meet them for them. So I really want to thank all the people who were involved in making that happen. The General Services who allowed us access to Cafe 1600. It was beautiful. It was dignified. We're going to be doing this kind of thing on a more regular basis. And of course, from the high schools, counselors who brought their students, high-performing, high-deserving, really, really hard-working kids. Irene Lopez-Ramey at South High, my best friend since the 7th grade. Also an honorary Scotsman from Highland High. We came together and did something really beautiful for the community. So I just want to say thank you. We'll be in the future bringing folks down and giving you a little more sense of it with some pictures and stuff, but it was certainly a highlight of my year, and I want to share that with you, Kern County. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Perez. Supervisor Flores.
Oh, thank you, Chairman. I have a special presentation. I actually should have asked for this to come earlier. I didn't know it was going to go this long, but if I could really make a quick presentation, thank you. Will the members of OCAP please join me at the podium? Good morning. I have a special presentation to make to a member of OCAT, Mike Clopton, Oildale Community Action Team, and I'm joined also by Pastor Dave Cadell with Lifehouse Church. And this is a grassroots organization that literally hits the streets. They walk block by block, corridor by corridor, arterial, lot. Chris, you've come to some of our events, and he's Supervisor Parley is in District 2. And this first day in office, first week, he was out at OCAT helping clean up the streets of Oildale. So I appreciate that greatly. So Mike is a man of empathy, servant leadership, putting others before himself. He does it on his own dime, oftentimes driving with high fuel costs. Not only is it saving the county money, more importantly, it's saving the community. And so I want to commend you. Graffiti abatement, walking, reporting code issues, picking up litter, bulky waste, you name it, these people do the work, not only on the cleanup front, but also on the monthly education engagement front, guest speakers, mental health, healthcare, the topics of the day, job development. They're doing their work, and we could not have done it without you. So I just want to take a pause and say thank you from a grateful supervisor, grateful constituents for the work you do. I painted a few walls with you a couple weeks ago. I was roasting and sweating. You do it all the time in inclement weather, and I could barely do 2 walls, and you do them all the time, day in and day out. He's steadfast. He'll paint one, the next day it's tagged. He'll paint another, it's tagged. It's painted, it's tagged. But we stay the course, because staying the course makes a difference, and over time we'll move the football. So on behalf of our entire board, I have a special board recognition in honor of your countless years of service. I've known you for over a decade, and you've never stopped. To the advancement of the community of Oildale and for exemplary public service and civic contributions dated this day in Kern County, April 14th, signed by our honorable chairman, all our members of the board of supervisors. So I just wanted to say thank you. God bless you, and keep up the good work. We appreciate you and on all that you do.
Thank you.
And then I also have a special challenge coin, District 3, that I'd like to present you and say thank you.
Thank you.
And if you want to say anything, you're welcome to, but you don't have to. It's up to you.
So again, we just want to thank the board for the responsiveness of the board to the issues that face the community. I applaud you. I sit here in awe thinking about, how you guys are able to, squeeze out the dollars to be able to cover all of these programs who are all valid programs. But yet, there's only so much. So I applaud you again. I thank you for your responsiveness and your commitment to the county. And we just I don't know how we could possibly thank you enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Real quick.
Thank you, Supervisor Flores. We'll go now to Supervisor Parlier.
Thank you, Chairman. Earlier, I gave a proclamation to the Fire Safe Council. I'd like to invite Wendy Ward back up. She has a presentation about all the great things they've done in fire prevention and utilizing their grant to do so. Thank you, Wendy.
Good morning, and thank you. I have some handouts. Okay, good morning, Chair and members of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today and for you proclaiming May 2nd, 2026 as Wildfire Community Preparedness Day. I am here as I serve as the Kern County Wildfire Mitigation Coordinator with the Kern Fire Safe Council. The Kern Fire Safe Council is a countywide 501c3 that focuses on wildfire mitigation and community resiliency throughout Kern County. I have been with the organization since its inception in 2019 and have served as the county coordinator since 2023. Today I'm here to provide an update on the Wildfire County Coordinator Program both here in Kern County and across the state of California. I provided an informational handout for your reference that provides the program's specific scope, deliverables, local impact, and accomplishments here in Kern County. Established in 2021 through a partnership with the California Fire Safe Council and CAL FIRE, the Wildfire County Coordinator Program was designed to build local capacity for wildfire mitigation and community resilience. The program currently supports 52 of California's 58 counties and serves as a critical link between state-level wildfire strategy and on-the-ground implementation. County coordinators play a key role in securing funding, supporting mitigation projects, engaging vulnerable communities, and building partnership across jurisdictions. In 2022, the board designated the Kern County Fire Department as the lead agency to identify the grant applicant. The Kern Fire Safe Council was selected and successfully awarded the grant. Without your action, this program and its outcomes would not have been possible to benefit the county. Our work focuses on building long-term wildfire resilience through developing FireWise USA communities, hosting mitigation meetings, trainings, and forums, writing and managing grants, supporting outreach and education efforts, and building interagency coordination and data systems. And finally, we are assisting with the Kern County Community Wildfire Protection Plan in its developments and updates. Since 2023, and the inception of my position, in just 3 years, the County Coordinator Program has brought approximately $3 million in wildfire mitigation funding, services, and support to Kern County. Working in partnership with the Kern County Fire Department, the U.S. Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, and other cooperators, we have achieved the following: wildfire education and outreach across the wildland-urban interface communities throughout Kern County, creating safer and insurable communities by fostering a growth from 0 Firewise USA communities to 11 certified and 10 pending communities, which so far includes approximately 500 homes and nearly 1,000 residents. We are completing free home ignition zone assessments in Kern's southern region communities. We are currently working with the Kern County Fire Department and a core team in a full rewrite and digitization of the Kern County Community Wildfire Protection Plan, which will integrate the county's new hazard mitigation plan, provide interagency GIS mapping, a regional priority plan, and homeowner resiliency resources that can be used across all agencies. We are doing the creation of a county wildfire collaborative, which includes federal, state, and local partners. We have created community defense zones in and around the communities of Hart Flat and Kernville. We are working on an assessment of roadside wildfire risks and ingress and egress needs for the greater Tehachapi region. We are also working on, or we completed a collaboration for the Burrell Fire post-wildfire community recovery and safety planning. Team Rubicon has currently come back to the Havilah area for the second time to assist homeowners, and they are here at this moment. The program is designed to create a sustainable long-term system for wildfire resilience at the local level. Key priorities moving forward include aligning state wildfire strategy and county-level execution, expanding home hardening and defensible space efforts, improving data collection and risk-based prioritization, and strengthening workforce and career development in wildfire mitigation. Ultimately, this program provides public safety, community insurability, protects our natural resources, and improves wildfire preparedness across Kern County. These efforts further preserve the economic stability and contributions for all of Kern County. I want to also briefly highlight Senate Bill 973, introduced earlier this year. Senate Bill 973 addresses a core challenge communities face while proving strategies like home hardening, defensible space, fuels reduction, evacuation planning, and community education reduces wildfire risks. Many communities lack the capacity to assess their risk, prioritize projects, and implement solutions at scale. This bill responds by pairing standardized state-led wildfire risk assessments, guidance, and locally delivered implementation capacity, ensuring state wildfire strategy consistency into on-the-ground action. Senate Bill 973 would codify and expand the County Coordinator Program, standardize risk assessments and planning tools, strengthen coordination across agencies, and ensure long-term program stability. Importantly, this program is already funded through 2027, and this bill requires no appropriations this year. While we are proud of the progress we have made, I want to emphasize that none of this would have been possible without the strong partnerships, particularly with the Kern County Fire Department and the U.S. Forest Service. Their leadership, mentorship, and collaboration have been instrumental to our success. The County Coordinator Program was a foreign idea, and both agencies have welcomed and worked with us to ensure the best efforts going forward for Kern County is together. You can see by their presence here today that they want what is best for Kern County, believe in the County Coordinator Program, and stand by a relationship that has developed as a result. The County Coordinator Program represents a new and highly effective collaborative approach to wildfire mitigation here in Kern County, something that has never been done before. As with many of our accomplishments, there are countless paving the way or firsts that continue to happen, which is exciting. As the County Coordinator, the Kern Fire Safe Council, and our cooperators, we are committed to continuing this work, protecting our communities, our natural resources, and the economic vitality of Kern County. If you have any questions or would like to discuss further, my contact is information in the packet I've provided. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I just wanted to just say thank you and the Kern Fire Safe Council for all your guys' work. As most of you know, you'll know in particular, but my district is pretty disproportionately impacted by wildfires. And it was very apparent the value of what you guys do during the Burrell fire. The community in particular of Alta Sierra was saved largely unharmed thanks to our fire department, but also in no small part due to the defensible spaces and the resiliency efforts of the community. It was pretty remarkable looking at the map how a ring just burned around Alta Sierra, but the community was all right. So this is very valuable stuff. I wanted to also mention Sierra Nevada Conservancy. I'm not sure if you guys are doing work with them, but I think they're looking at grants right now, so that might be some funding opportunities available there. And then lastly, not to step on your toes, Supervisor Parley, if you were planning on this anyway, but I would like to make a referral to the CAO's office. If we could just have a discussion with our fire department about Senate Bill 973 and take a look at that and what the county can do on that front.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy, and thank you for that, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Supervisor Flores.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll be brief. With respect to Alzheimer's, I wanted to inform the CEO and you specifically, Supervisor Peters, because this is your appointment to the Aging and Adult Commission on Aging. Vivian Cow, who sits on there, is working with the caregivers at ADAKC on a new program called PACE, which is another facility, and it's developing a program to support constituents with dementia. So as you track that, maybe that will provide some assistance moving forward.
Yeah, outstanding. Thank you very much. Yeah, and I would definitely like to have Vivian be a part of those conversations. Lastly, I would like to ask the board that we adjourn today's meeting in memory of Donald Wayne James, who passed away peacefully on April 2nd, 2026, surrounded by his loved ones. Don was a devoted husband of 67 years, a proud father, grandfather, and great-grandfather, a lifelong member of the Kern County community. A veteran of the United States Army, he went on to build a successful career as the founder of James Petroleum while raising his family here in Bakersfield. He was known for his deep love of the outdoors, his commitment to family, and his kind and gentle spirit. Those who knew him will remember his patience, generosity, and the lasting memories he created with friends and loved ones. And our thoughts are with his wife Donna and his entire family. So again, I just ask that we adjourn today's meeting in his memory. Okay, that takes us, if there are no more comments from the board, to item 23. And that is a presentation on the implementation of Senate Bill 707 amendments to the Brown Act. And for that, I will turn it over to our clerk of the board, Julie Gregg.
Good morning, Chairman and Supervisors. It's really different from over here. I'm just gonna say, like, this is a very different view. I was telling Couch earlier, but it's kind of trippy. All right, so Senate Bill 707 was signed into law on October 3rd, 2025, and it's established some new requirements for public participation in local government meetings that will become effective July 1st, 2026. These changes mandate updates to our procedural rules and will be brought forward to approval by your board in May to ensure the county is in compliance with the July 1st deadline. Today's presentation provides an overview of the anticipated required changes SB 707 will have on board proceedings and requests the board provide direction on specific elements of policy change. So there are three main components we're going to be talking about today for the upcoming changes. First, website updates and community outreach, expanded access to remote participation, including equitable public comment opportunities for remote participants, and procedural rules updates to include formal procedures for addressing technical disruptions during meetings. For website and community outreach compliance, SB 707 requires the county maintain a dedicated, accessible webpage for public meetings, which includes instructions for remote access and public comment. The county currently maintains a dedicated webpage, but will expand this web-based information to increase community outreach for awareness of board meetings and participation opportunities, including additions to the GovDelivery agenda notification system to add in unrepresented groups and the placement of informational flyers at county facilities, which outline our meeting dates and instructions on how to participate both in person and remotely. Remote participation is by far the largest component of SB 707 and requires the county to provide a two-way audio-visual or telephonic option that will allow the public to participate virtually in real time. After careful consideration, our department chose public input, which is a web-based platform that has been selected to ensure members of the public can participate remotely via telephone, and they will register to speak on specific agenda items through the web. Your board approved this selection of a system on March 24th, and it will be implemented in the following months to be compliant by the July 1st deadline. Our meeting procedural updates must include a plan to address technical disruptions to virtual services and virtual participation during board meetings. In the event of such a disruption, the county must make a good faith effort to restore service for at least 1 hour. During this time, the board may proceed to closed session if it is applicable. If the service is not restored within an hour, the board may reconvene an open session, and upon a roll call vote, can continue the meeting in the public interest of conducting business. With the updates to these procedural rules, your board may also consider adopting a policy that would establish speaker limits for both agenda and non-agenda items, provided that in-person and remote participants are allotted the same speaking time. These limits would be defined in the procedural rules and communicated via the county website, meeting agendas, and during board meetings. Your board would always retain the discretion to waive these speaker limits for items of significant public interest. Based on a review of historical data and the average of speakers over the last 15 months, the recommendation for speaker limits would be 10 speakers in person and 10 speakers remotely for public presentation or non-agenda items, and 5 speakers in person and 5 speakers remotely for on-agenda items for the public comment section. The department asks for direction on these recommended proposed speaker limits to be included in our administrative and procedural rules for the proceedings of the Board of Supervisors, which will be brought back to your guys for adoption in May. And both County Council and I are here to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you, Julie. Are there any questions or comments from the board before we go to the public? Okay, not seeing any. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on this item?
Good morning again, Mr. Chairman, board members. Just a point of clarification. Our group generally has like a unified message. Sometimes it's like court documentation that we try to coordinate with those sitting in the audience so that we don't interrupt each other. Is there going to be a possible way where the coordination, if we're doing 10 folks, I think we can still work with this system. We're going to have to work with it, but that's just our point of interest, is trying to keep our group together as much as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Shen. Julie, I don't know if you have an answer for that or if that's
I
something
actually
we're
do
gonna
have
work
an
through.
answer for that.
Okay, great.
So as part of this program, I actually, because I am running the meeting, I'm seeing you guys come up. When you register to speak, I will see you in the queue. Obviously, I see you guys before the meetings and I talk to you before the meeting, so it would be easy for me to know you were there, and I would be calling you up and could call you up in order.
Jess Sanders, just a question. You said 10 speakers. Is that per topic? Is that, okay, so that would, whatever that topic was, we would be speaking on, we'd be limited to 10 speakers. But if somebody else had another topic, they would be limited to 10 speakers. Or is that 10 speakers per public?
For public presentation, my understanding is it's 10 in-person speakers, 10 remote speakers, and then per agenda topic, it's another batch of speakers.
So just
So public presentation as a whole. But again, this is just something we're gonna be kind of figuring out as we go along, because under the law, you're required to allocate the same amount of time for in-person speakers as you are to call-in speakers. So it's something we're gonna have to kind of figure out as we go. This is the initial guidelines of it, but again, I think that there will be some discretion that the chair will have to allow more time if the topic warrants. Is that all accurate?
That's correct. So yes, what we are proposing is 10 speakers for public presentations in person and 10 remotely, so 20 speakers altogether, and then 5 in person and 5 remotely for each individual off consent agenda item. So it would be 5 for each one, so each topic. But yes, you would retain the discretion if there was a topic of significant public interest to waive those limits as a board.
How many speakers do we have for public presentation at an average meeting?
So over the past 15 months, we ran all the numbers. For the AM, it's 9, and for the PM, it's 5.
Okay.
And that's just in person, so we took those averages and then doubled them for remote.
Okay. Does that answer the question, or?
I know that we've been here, and there's been many more than 10 speakers talking about many different things, and I hate to have any of the public cut out on their concerns.
Right.
So that was my question.
Understood. No, I share that concern, and I think this is something we're going to have to kind of work through as we go along, because this is new state requirements for us as well. Next public speaker, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Michael Turnipseed.
Mr.
I
Chair.
represent the Kern County Taxpayers Association. And I sat through this, it's already gone through this stuff at the city, and there's one real question. We expect that you will let everybody speak. That's not, but to adopt hard, fast rules, maybe you don't want to hear a topic that day? I mean, the idea of limiting public comment is not something we can accept. The 2-minute limit, we get it. I've been working on it for 21 years. I know how to say what I have to say in 2 minutes. But they take the first 10 slots. Everybody else, like today, we had a lot of people get up and speak. And you have other major agenda items. What if 40 people show up to speak? Are you prepared to push it past noon in the afternoon? I mean, I've been here when the line speak has gone all the way up to the back. So when you craft these rules, people need the right. If you want to collect the 2-minute limit on it, that's fine. We've already done that. I'm used to that. But I can't, anybody who comes here to speak on an issue has the right to be heard. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And again, I share those concerns, and I get what you're saying. I also have been at some of these meetings, like we had our oil and gas meeting where there's individuals calling in from San Francisco and from all over the country to give their opinion on how we should run our oil situation here. And with this new law and the requirements to give equal time to people calling in, to people in person, I see that there's an opportunity for games to be played with people calling in from who knows where to try and dominate the conversation on some issues. So I don't know what the right answer is right now, but I welcome any input or thoughts from the rest of the board. Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak on this?
I have a question about what you just said.
Sure, if you'd like to come up to the microphone, Mr. Sanders.
In addressing people that are calling from out of the county, can you limit that? Because the people that live here are the ones you're addressing, you're one you're representing, not somebody out of San Francisco.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't believe that there is any way for us to limit that.
Wow.
So that's what, yeah, we're going to actually have an expansion of participation.
Mr. Turnipseed?
Just different format.
I've sat through, Mr. Chairman, I've sat through all these meetings, especially on oil, that have been very controversial, and we've had 2-3 hour hearings. So,
Yeah.
I just want to say 5 or 6. I remember when budget hearings used to start at 9 in the morning and go till 10 o'clock at night. Now you've streamlined the process and made it a lot easier for all of us. But no, county people have the right. It's a public meeting. Anybody has to be. It's the same thing. I drove to the PUC back in 2010 and 11 and 12, and the chairman actually made so many people were in line to talk. It went from 3 minutes. The line didn't get any shorter. Then he went to 2 minutes, and then he went to 1 minute. So I was in the 1 minute crowd. So I said, you know what? I drove 4.5 hours to get here and 4.5 hours home, and you're asking me to talk in 1 minute. And I said 2 sentences, and I sat down. So it's how you're going to allow this to happen. It can turn into a real ugly situation. So it's hard to adopt really hard and fast rules. And I know the chairman has the prerogative, but after a while, if you have 200 or 300 people to show up on depending the issue, which could happen, what are you prepared to handle and tolerate? Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that want to speak on this? Okay, not seeing any. I'll bring it back to the board, and I think the recommended action is to hear presentation and provide direction. So if anybody has any ideas.
So I think, yeah.
Or Supervisor Farley, were you buzzed in for this?
Jeff can go first.
Okay, good.
So this is coming back for further treatment and adoption, correct?
Supervisor Flores, through the chair, yes.
Okay.
There are other parts, like the technical disruption and those kinds of things that will be included in these procedural rules, and they'll all come back to you
All right.
for adoption in May.
Okay, so, I mean, we'll be nimble and we'll adapt to new state laws, one of hundreds and hundreds that are passed that impact the county. So we'll get through this. So thank you for studying it. Thank you for running the averages. Thank you for coming up with a starting point. Ultimately, we're going to expand access vis-a-vis outside participation through phoning. We've got the software. We're going to get through it. And what I like about this is that what's embedded in this is the chair has a prerogative when there's a big item before us that he or she will have flexibility to grant. So we're going to be covered. So I think we're going to be fine, and I look forward to discussing it further as it comes before us. But again, if we're doubling it, the people, we have to work with that new reality. We're going to potentially double from the outside, and we've got to deal with that.
Thank you, Supervisor Flores. Yeah, I agree. And I definitely understand Mr. Turnipseed's concerns, but the old saying goes, letting the cat out of the bag is a whole lot easier than putting it back in. And I think having no backstop at all and then trying to reel back if we start running into these kinds of problems is going to be more difficult than if we have an initial position of those limits in place. I think it'll be easier to expand participation from there. But again, I welcome any other thoughts. Supervisor, sorry, so go Supervisor Flores.
So, speaking of Mississippi or San Francisco, what if someone does call from Biloxi, Mississippi, or from San Francisco? Are we going to be able to identify where they're coming from?
So the rules for remote participation are a lot like they are for here. So we ask you to give your name. Doesn't necessarily mean that you need to give us your correct name, nor do we ask you for any information. You could come from anywhere and participate in our board meeting. We are going to ask them to fill out a registration form when they go on the web, but we cannot require that they do so.
We can ask about where they're originating from, but we can't make them.
Correct.
Because, when we do have big legislation, that is a concern. If people are storming the hatch from areas that are antithetical to Kern, maybe we just have to ask and flesh that out and ascertain where they're from. But that is a concern, because to me, it's Kern County priority. Kern County citizens should have priority.
Yes, and Supervisor Flores, through the chair, I completely understand what you're saying. The way that it works, and County Council and I have discussed this as well, it would be essentially as if you were all participating in person. You're coming up to the mic, you're adding into the queue virtually as the same as you would add into a queue here in person. So not able to manipulate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Flores. Supervisor Parlier.
Thank you, Chairman. Julia, I just want to get a little bit of clarification. When we met and you were talking about this, you said potentially we might mirror, or they might mirror what we do with the city of Bakersfield. And if I recall right, at the city, when a maximum time was reached. Oh, thank you. Is that better?
Thank you.
If the maximum time is reached with the city, then, of course, the mayor may have flexibility, but I believe it went to a vote of the elected body. Would it stay with the chair, or would it be a member vote?
Supervisor Parlier, through the chair, that's something that we're asking you guys to provide direction to us. Currently, it is written in our procedures that it is at the discretion of the chair. But if you wanted the expansion of those time limits to be at a vote of the board, that would be direction that you would give us, and it would go written into those procedures.
Okay, just something to think about. Thanks, Michael.
At the city, the mayor has the power to extend it on herself. If she doesn't, step 2 is when the council outvotes her. So if she would say, no, I'm done, we're done with this, which she's never done. She's very accommodating. But since it's come up hypothetically, if she does something, then it's my understanding, the council, you make a motion, no, let them speak. I don't even think you have to vote. I've never seen a council member say, no, everybody needs the right to speak. I don't think the mayor wants to go down that road.
I think it happened once when Harvey Hall was on, when I was there.
You're dating yourself.
Well, yeah. Maybe I should turn the mic off now. I don't know, something for the board to consider anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, good thought. I appreciate that. Supervisor Parlier, Supervisor Perez.
Thank you. I think each meeting that we have here, and Shin, you and et al. Have been here enough now, I think, to see this. Every single meeting is its own baby. It's its own monster. It's its own thing. And depending on who's chair, depending on who's here, depending on the dynamics, it really is a unique Tuesday every time that we're here. And I haven't really seen big problems associated with this. So I appreciate that we want to make efforts to cover every possible scenario. But the truth is, most of us here are civil, we're respectful. Most things that need to be said in a public setting can be said in 2 minutes. It's plenty of time. But I'm with Mike that people come here or engage their government, that we need to make sure that they're heard and that they recognize this is their government, this is their operation. Yes, we have lots of important things to do administratively, but when it comes to political speech and access to the public, I think constitutional law, history of American jurisprudence has overwhelmingly sided with the public and their ability to be heard. And so while I don't see this really as a huge problem moving forward, I do think our chair can exercise discretion and recognize that we don't own this government. I don't mean any offense to my colleagues. I respect them and appreciate working with them, but you do. You own the government. It's yours, always has been. And so that really should be the spirit that guides us, I think. But otherwise, I think this process is fine. There's be rules in place, and we'll just break them all.
Thank you, Supervisor Perez. Any other members of the board?
May I say something?
Sure, Mr.
I think the people of the public, they take time out of their life to come down here and be involved in local politics should get some kind of priority than somebody in Timbuktu sitting on her couch. He has the right to his opinion, but get his blankety blank down here and get involved. Thank you.
Amen. Well, unfortunately, the state of California, it just seems like they don't normally think a lot of these things through before they implement them. Supervisor Couch.
A couple questions. Well, I will make a prediction on what will happen. You're going to let everybody speak, no matter what.
The people like that.
But I think it's worth, since they're since the law adds into this extra opportunity for people to speak from remotely, I think it's worth considering, and we're not going to decide it today. Do we move public statements around on the agenda? Does it have to be after the consent calendar is adopted, but before all the other items? Could it be at the end? Could you do half an hour of public statements or what have you, and then pick it up again at the end if you have more?
Supervisor Couch, through the chair, it doesn't have to be where it's at. That is in your procedural rules, the setup of the agenda, so that would have to be changed as well. I'll refer to council as well. It wouldn't be my recommendation to split them.
Split them meaning
Meaning some here, some there.
But
you could
have
put
remote
it someplace
and
else in the agenda if you wished.
Well, here's my question. If you're going to have any public statements, even 10 minutes worth, do you have to do 5 in person and 5 remote at the same time on the agenda? Okay, so then if you did an hour in the morning and there was still 50 people to go, you could do another hour at the end.
They have to be the way the law is written, and I'll refer
We
to
can't,
Kendra.
let me say it this way. We can't do all the in-person first, early in the morning, and then at the end of the morning agenda, do the remote. Okay.
Ms. Graham?
Thank you. Chair, members of the board, I would just caution against doing anything that would discourage remote participation. So having public in person at the beginning and then moving the ones online that are hanging on online to the end could be seen as discouraging them. So I think we just need to make it as even as possible. So, you know, one way to do it would be if you, excuse me, if you were to allow everyone to speak in public and keep track of how long that took, and then you have to give that equal amount of time. So it might vary day to day depending on how you do it. So again, that's all your prerogative, and Julie and I will take direction from you on how you want to proceed. But just with that one caution of making sure you're not discouraging participation remotely.
Yeah, I just wanted to make one comment. I appreciate that, and I agree. I not to speak for Supervisor Cash, I don't think that's your intent. I think, I mean, we all have outlying areas in our district that, you know, we want to have the ability for them to share that as well. But I just think the bigger concern with if we get, you know, bad actors from out of the area that are trying to, you know, manipulate or dominate the conversation, how we might be able to control that moving forward by taking a whole block of presentation at the beginning and then having an additional opportunity for any speakers at the end. Is that a fair characterization?
Yeah, I was thinking if you did an hour in the morning, half an hour for each, and you had leftovers, can you just get on with your business and then pick it up again at the end of your morning or your afternoon agenda?
Fair enough. Yeah. Supervisor Perez?
Dennis, we're the #1 oil basin in the world, right? We have long-standing oil interests, stakeholders, century plus. We have people who have mineral rights in Kern County. They own them, rightfully, legally, but they don't live here. They live all over the country. It's an example of just one example to understand that what we do in Kern County doesn't stop at our borders. We're too important, we're too significant, and the truth is a lot of private actors have interests in Kern County. All over the globe, actually, have interest in Kern County because of how important we are and what we do for the world. So that's part of the complication there, Dennis, is that it's hard, you know, when we start going, how important is your issue? How important is that issue? I do believe that these people up here have I believe, have some moral and ethical obligation to give great weight to their constituents, the people who actually live there. But as it relates to the hearing, because the issues are so complex and because they spill over into so many areas. I just gave you one example. There's really no practical way to gauge a person's sort of value to their ability to speak in public. The truth is, there are public matters, and a lot of people have interest in public matters, that live all over the country or even the globe. So that's just part of the complication there. That when we're talking about who's local, who's because I'm with you. I trust local people, and I don't think outsiders know who we are. But a lot of people who have strong interest in Kern County just don't live here. So that's it. I'm not saying some of these groups, some of these rabble-rouser groups, are in that same category. But we've also gotten in trouble for limiting speech on political basis, as you know, and we're actually still working through that with the DOJ. So these are just things that are realities when you're government and when you're dealing with the public. There's just a lot there that you have to be careful not to limit to the public, because these meetings are all about transparency and public ownership, and so that's what we're wrestling with here, if that makes sense. I just want to share that with you, Dennis.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor. Any other comments from the board? So we have to provide direction, and so far I think it's clear as mud what we're trying to do. I know we have to bring this back to the board, so would it be acceptable if we just say, we appreciate the presentation, but we individually will, consider things, and then at our next, or maybe have that conversation with you as we go along with suggestions, and then you can implement whatever suggestions board members are conveying to you as options at the next opportunity before the board?
Chair, I'm going to throw to Kendra and Nancy on this one, having been like my first presentation, my first direction. I'm going to let them answer for me.
Chairman Peters, through the and board members, I should say, yes, we can take direction from you and put something together, present it. We can make changes at that time from the dais and come up with something that we can adopt. We'll take your input and we'll put something together for you, present it. If we need to make changes, obviously we can't violate the Brown Act, but so it'd be having individual conversations with you. So something you would like that is put in, another board member may not, but then we'll have that discussion in open session.
Yeah, perfect.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add to that as well, this is the first discussion we're having. We're not the only county having to come to a policy decision on this. So we'll also see how the other counties are doing it and see if they've come up with something more creative. It is really helpful to hear both from your board and the public on kind of what the interests are and the priorities around it. And we'll bring some, as you've indicated and as council has suggested, is either some options or some recommendations we feel like will meet your expectations on what this conversation has entailed. But it's been really helpful to hear. We appreciate it. Perfect.
Well, yeah, no, I appreciate the comments, and thank you to Julie and your team. I think this is a great starting point, and I like how we're dealing with this so far. But I think just when we hear it again, if in the meantime, if any board members have any ideas or suggestions, or members of the public do, we could convey those, and then hopefully get to something that works at our next meeting. Any other questions or comments from the board? Oh, I'm sorry, County Council.
I wanted to piggyback on what Nancy said. I will be going to a county council conference this week, and we have roundtable discussions, and I will be asking those very questions and to get an idea what other county boards are doing, and I can bring that back as well.
Perfect. Okay, well, I appreciate it. I think that that does it for this item. And that's our last item. So if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to consider items 58 under CAO's office and 59 through 61 under County Council.
Motion.
Okay, with that objection, we're adjourned in honor of Donald Wayne James.